take it. You have to...
Oh, my. Aren't you ashamed?
Why should I be ashamed?
What are you doing here? This is my son's house.
Hey, you there.
He's also my...
I think you better come home now. Both moms are at our house.
You got it.
No, you have utterly no business here.
They're about to start fighting again.
Every right to be here, huh?
What's this fighting already? I can't handle them.
You shouldn't be doing this kind of stuff.
I can't leave. How can I leave? If I leave, they'll go full out. Hurry and come back. Hurry, please.
You shouldn't even be here. I don't even want to see you ever again. How many times have I told you that you shouldn't be here? How many times?
Fine, I won't argue with you. After all, I'm the winner.
You mean you vicious witch.
How am I a
Tell me, how many
witch, huh?
times? Ask yourself. You
Well, what did I
doesn't
say?
want to see you. You know, he doesn't want... You're not his mother.
Dodo and I are in great terms.
Go, leave the house. Oh,
It's
why
not
are
like
you even
we
coming to see
feel
Dodo?
like we're great.
She doesn't want to see you either.
Oh, okay.
You don't know what
keep
she
talking, keep
said?
talking.
What did she
said?
say? I'm not going to tell you.
Not going to tell me?
Anyway, she
Just
didn't
make
say
it up.
anything nice about you.
All right, fine.
All right,
Come on.
ask her to come out then.
Come on out.
Dodo, come here. Louder, Dodo.
Go get her. Go get her.
Louder.
She trashed me.
Dodo,
I'll
come
change
here
my
and
last name.
testify for this. Come here.
Dodo.
Up, you tell her. Recognize your enemy. You hear me?
Dodo, tell me. You didn't tell
No,
me,
I
did you?
didn't.
I'm asking you to tell the truth. Why are you faltering?
Dodo, how have I treated you? Tell me the truth, huh?
Stop nodding. Is that true? You used to. Just tell the truth. Don't be shameless.
Dodo, tell her I didn't use you. You did it willingly, right? Huh?
What are you afraid of? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, she's horrible to you, right? I'm much nicer, right? Right? Right?
No,
Right?
hey,
Is that
stand firm, you know? Recognize your enemy. What are you doing?
Don't we? Don't we?
Such happy news. I've got her.
That's right.
She lost
That's
the
right.
game. Want to use my daughter-in-law? No way.
Let it go, Mom. It's already in the past, yeah? Let's not mention it again, okay?
Sure. I've lost all my manners today.
Yeah.
They were all thrown away.
Yeah, right, Mom.
Anyway, that's fair enough.
You won. You satisfied? Yeah?
Yeah. Just let me say it out loud. If you don't let me, I won't be
All right,
happy.
then you let it out. Let's forget the whole thing, okay, Mom? Yeah?
I almost forgot.
What else happened?
No, I'm just asking. So it's over between Li Rocho and Dodo?
Right. It's over, really. It's over.
That guy is not a good man. Showing off all the time with his dollars and pounds. Which girl will resist that?
No, Mom, what's money got to... Yeah, am I that poor, huh?
You're right.
No, really. You listen to me now. You know? Li Rocho, I've already taught him a lesson now. Ask him now if he would even come to my place now. He would even dare to come.
All right, then. I'm telling you, Wei. You have to believe in yourself. I think you
Yeah?
attract women just like your father.
No, Mom.
Huh?
I'm not like that. I'm more like you. I'm a faithful person. Look at your baby. I inherited you and Dad's good qualities. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
But I still feel like I'm more like you. For example, we're grateful people. If others are nice to us, we'll be 10 times nicer. We're the same when it comes to that. Don't you think? Mom?
You're an idiot.
No, I think I'm pretty clever.
That depends. You have to be nicer to Dodo. She's a good girl. She lost her job because of me. What else do you ask?
Sure.
You should hurry up and have a baby, all right?
Yeah.
Once a woman has given birth, all she can think about is her family.
Yeah. Mom, don't worry. I get it. I completely understand.
Oh.
Your house calling. Hey, Hero. What? What is hospital? Hi, I know. I got it. Calm down. I'm coming right away with Mom.
What is it?
Calm down. Don't worry. Mom, there's nothing to be worried about. Uncle Yang just fainted this Saturday. Your house call 120 to get Uncle Yang to the hospital. You wait here. I'll go get the car. Just wait here for a minute. I'll drive.
She called an ambulance.
Hey, Yu-Hao, how's everything?
What happened?
Mom, brother, here, hurry.
Why is he in the emergency room?
Okay. No, Mom. Sit here.
Don't
Just
worry,
wait.
let's wait a bit.
What's going on?
Just wait for a second.
How come he suddenly fainted?
Just
I have no
sit out
idea.
there.
The doctor arrived soon after and rushed him
What
here.
did the
doctor say? He said nothing.
No, he's saving him, Mom. Don't worry.
Where's patient's
Hey,
number?
over here.
Yeah,
He's not here.
Oh, how is he?
Doctor, what's the
What
situation?
happened?
It's not good, but we are doing our best.
Oh.
Oh, where should I sign?
Here.
Doctor, we're counting on you.
Please, doctor, please.
I will do my
please
best.
save him, doctor.
Don't worry, okay?
Thank you.
Sit down. Mom.
He can't be in this bad
Yeah,
a shape.
I don't get it either.
He's only in his 60s, not old at all. How could it happen? He's still a middle-aged man. This is just too sudden. And
Maybe it's really bad.
Maybe it was unexpected.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Who is the patient's son?
I am.
Is that you? Come in here. Patient wants to see you.
Oh.
excuse me, nurse. Didn't he want to see me? I'm
No,
his
he
wife.
didn't.
Mama, I'll go in first and see how things are
You go
going.
in. Mom, let's sit down.
Mom, please sit.
Come
I
on,
want
let's
to
sit down.
see him. See
Maybe
him
he's got something to tell Yue.
Tell him what?
Yeah.
Yue is not his natural son.
That's his son. You're Yue's mother, aren't you?
No. You want to see young Yifan.
Hey, Mom, don't.
No, that's not right. He knew young Yifan was not here.
Oh, Mom, Uncle Yang is still unconscious now. He's not awake
He's confused and delusional?
Yeah. Wait, Mom, come on now, come on. Let's let him see however he wants, okay? Don't
Who
overthink
does
it.
he think I am? An outsider? A strange woman? All my efforts are in vain.
Mom, please don't think like that.
No, Uncle Yang. I'm not Ifan. Yue.
I want to see Yvonne. I want to see my son.
Oh, Uncle Yang. My mom, my wife Dodo, and Yu Hao are all outside. Uncle Yang, I'll bring my mom in so that you two can talk first.
I want to see my son.
Oh,
Yvonne.
Uncle Yang, Ifan's in the army. If you want to see him, I'll contact him immediately and ask him to come back here. Is that okay, Uncle?
Yue,
Hey.
come here. I'm telling you.
Uncle Yang, what do you want to say?
If I don't get to see Yvonne before I die, you must tell him. After I'm gone, I want to be buried with his mother. And us be buried together.
Where's Mom?
Mom's in the restroom. What?
I gotta tell you something. It's really important. You absolutely cannot tell Mom. Do you hear me?
What?
Uncle Yang's in terrible condition. They're using everything on him. I really don't think he's gonna survive the night. Now listen to me. Uncle Yang is asked to see Ifan. You call Ifan now and ask him to come back. Do you hear me? Huh?
I'm not calling him.
It's an emergency. Just do as I said. Good girl. Call Ifan and tell him to come back quickly.
Hey, where are you going?
To the restroom.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Yue. Is here? How is he doing in there?
Well, he's awake now.
Oh,
He's conscious.
then everything's all right with him?
Yeah.
He's not in danger anymore?
He'll be fine since he's awake.
Yeah, right. He'll be fine.
Well, did he ask about me?
Well, he's asked who's here. Yeah, I told him you're here. I told him that you're here, I'm here, and also Dodo and Yu Hao.
He's worried about you.
And that's why he just, he asked me to go in and not let you in. And Uncle Yang didn't want you to...
Oh, fine.
He doesn't want you to worry too much, Mom. Hey, Mom. When I was coming out of there, Uncle Yang said that he's a little hungry.
With that, we end today's edition of Chinese Theater. Thank you for tuning in and see you next time.
Epic tales of mystery and magic to accounts of battle and empire. From the verses of the ancient poets to the masterpieces of our time. CRI brings to life China's literary heritage. Join us on Night on Literature.
In A Light on Literature, CRI continues its presentation of My Country and My People, Ling Yutang's lively and witty English language commentary on China's character, history, culture, and art of living. Although the book was written in 1935, it remains highly relevant today. A prolific writer and translator, as well as an inventor, the author Ling Yutang has been aptly described as a literary bridge between China and the West. Today, Ian Reid narrates episode 6, in which the author describes Chinese nonchalance. Enjoy.
There is no profounder collection of a concentrated, roguish philosophy of life than that contained in the 5,000 words of Lao Tzu's Tao Te King. Taoism, in theory and practice, means a certain roguish nonchalance, a confounded and devastating skepticism, a mocking laughter at the futility of all human interference and at the failure of all human institutions, laws, government and marriage, and a certain disbelief in idealism, not so much because of lack of energy as because of a lack of faith. It is a philosophy which counteracts the positivism of Confucius and serves as a safety valve for the imperfections of a Confucian society. For the Confucian outlook on life is positive, while the Taoistic outlook is negative. And out of the alchemy of these two strange elements emerges the immortal thing we call Chinese character. Hence all Chinese are Confucianists when successful, and Taoists when they are failures. The Confucianist in us builds and strives, while the Taoist in us watches and smiles. Therefore, when a Chinese scholar is in office, he moralizes, and when he is out of office, he versifies, and usually it is good Taoistic poetry. That explains why almost all Chinese scholars write poetry, and why in almost all collected works of Chinese writers, poetry occupies the better and greater half. For Taoism, like morphia, is strangely benumbing, and therefore strangely soothing. It relieves Chinese headaches and heartaches. Its romanticism, its poetry, and its worship of nature serve the Chinese as handsomely in times of trouble and disorder as Confucianism serves them in times of peace and national integration. In that way, it provides a safe retreat for the Chinese human heart and a balm for the Chinese soul when the flesh is submitted to trials and tribulations. The poetry of Taoism alone has made the rigoristic life on the Confucian pattern endurable, and its romanticism has saved Chinese literature from becoming a mere collection of eulogies on the imperial virtues and a rehash of moral exhortations. All good Chinese literature, all Chinese literature that is worthwhile, that is readable, and that pleases the human mind and soothes the human heart, is essentially imbued with this Taoistic spirit. Taoism and Confucianism are the negative and positive poles of Chinese thought which make life possible in China. The Chinese are by nature greater Taoists than they are by culture Confucianists. As a people, we are great enough to draw up an imperial code based on the conception of essential justice, but we are also great enough to distrust lawyers and law courts. 95% of legal troubles are settled out of court. We are great enough to make elaborate rules of ceremony, but we are also great enough to treat them as part of the great joke of life, which explains the great feasting and merrymaking at Chinese funerals. We are great enough to denounce vice, but we are also great enough not to be surprised or disturbed by it. We are great enough to start successive waves of revolutions, but we are also great enough to compromise and go back to the previous patterns of government. We are great enough to elaborate a perfect system of official impeachment and civil service and traffic regulations and library reading room rules. But we are also great enough to break all systems, to ignore them, circumvent them, play with them, and become superior to them. We do not teach our young in the colleges a course of political science, showing how a government is supposed to be run, but we teach them by daily example how our municipal, provincial and central governments are actually run. We have no use for impracticable idealism, as we have no patience for doctrinaire theology. We do not teach our young to become like the sons of God, but we teach them to behave like sane, normal human beings. That is why I believe that the Chinese are essentially humanists, and Christianity must fail in China, or it must be altered beyond recognition before it can be accepted. The only part of Christian teachings which will be truly accepted by the Chinese people is Christ's injunction to be harmless as doves, but wise as serpents. For these two virtues, dove-like gentleness and serpent-like wisdom, are attributes of the old rogue. Human life moves on, therefore, on the line of least struggle and least resistance. This develops a certain calmness of mind, which enables one to swallow insults and find oneself in harmony with the universe. It develops also certain defense tactics, which can be more terrible than any tactics of aggression. When one goes to a restaurant and feels hungry but the food does not come, one can repeat the order to the boy. If the boy is rude, one can complain to the management and do something about it. But if the boy replies in the most elegant manner, "Coming, coming," and does not move a step, one can do absolutely nothing except pray or curse in the most elegant manner also. Such, in brief, is the passive strength of the Chinese people. It is the strength of the old rogue. 5. Pacifism. So far, we have been dealing with 3 of the worst characteristics that paralyze the Chinese people for organized action. These characteristics are seen to spring from a general view of life, as shrewd as it is mellow, distinguished by a certain tolerant nonchalance. It is evident that such a view of life is not without its virtues, and they are the virtues of an old people, not ambitious nor keen to sit on top of the world, but a people whose eyes have seen much of life, who are prepared to accept life for what it is worth, but who insist, nevertheless, that this life shall be lived decently and happily within one's lot. For the Chinese are a hard-boiled lot. There is no nonsense about them. They do not live in order to die, as the Christians pretend to do, nor do they seek for a utopia on earth, as many seers of the West do. They just want to order this life on earth, which they know to be full of pain and sorrow, so that they may work peaceably, endure nobly, and live happily. Of the noble virtues of the West, of nobility, ambition, zeal for reform, public spirit, sense for adventure, and heroic courage, the Chinese are devoid. They cannot be interested in climbing Mont Blanc or in exploring the North Pole, but they are tremendously interested in this commonplace world, and they have an indomitable patience, an indefatigable industry, a sense of duty, a level-headed common sense, cheerfulness, humor, tolerance, pacifism, and that unequaled genius for finding happiness in hard environments, which we call contentment, qualities that make this commonplace life enjoyable to them. And chief of these are pacifism and tolerance, which are the mark of a mellow culture, and which seem to be lacking in modern Europe. Indeed, it seems at times, on watching the spectacle of present-day Europe, that she is suffering less from a lack of smartness or intellectual brilliance than from the lack of a little mellow wisdom. It seems at times barely possible that Europe will outgrow its hot-headed youthfulness and its intellectual brilliance, and that after another century of scientific progress, the world will be brought so closely together that the Europeans will learn to take a more tolerant view of life and of each other, at the risk of total annihilation. They will perhaps learn to be a little less brilliant and a little more mature. I have confidence that the change of view will be brought about, not by brilliant theories, but by an instinct for self-preservation. Perhaps then the West will learn to believe less in self-assertion and more in tolerance, for tolerance will be direly needed when the world is closely knit together. They will be a little less desirous to make progress and a little more anxious to understand life, and the voice of the old man of Hangu Guan Pass will be listened to more widely.
You're listening to A Light on Literature, CRI's presentation of timeless works of Chinese literature. Today's narration by Ian Reid is from My Country and My People, an English-language commentary by Lin Yutang about China's character, history, culture, and art of living.
From the Chinese point of view, pacifism is not noble, it is simply good, because it is common sense. If this earthly life is all the life we can have, we must try to live in peace if we want to live happily. From this point of view, the self-assertion and the restlessness of the spirit of the West are signs of its youthful rawness. The Chinese, steeped in his Oriental philosophy, can see that that rawness will gradually wear off at Europe's coming of age. For, strange as it may seem, out of the extremely shrewd philosophy of Taoism, there always emerges the word tolerance. Tolerance has been, I think, the greatest quality of Chinese culture, and tolerance will also become the greatest quality of modern culture when that culture matures. To learn tolerance, one needs a little sorrow and a little cynicism of the Taoist type. True cynics are often the kindest people, for they see the hollowness of life, and from the realization of that hollowness is generated a kind of cosmic pity. Pacifism, too, is a matter of high human understanding. If man could learn to be a little more cynical, he would also be less inclined toward warfare. That is perhaps why all intelligent men are cowards. The Chinese are the world's worst fighters because they are an intelligent race, backed and nurtured by Taoistic cynicism and the Confucian emphasis on harmony as the ideal of life. They do not fight because they are the most calculating and self-interested of peoples. An average Chinese child knows what the European grey-haired statesmen do not know, that by fighting, one gets killed or maimed, whether it be an individual or a nation. Chinese parties to a dispute are the easiest to bring to their senses. That calculating philosophy teaches them to be slow to quarrel and quick to patch up. That mellow, old roguish philosophy, which teaches the Chinese patience and passive resistance in times of trouble, also warns them against momentary pride and assertion at the moment of success. The Chinese Council for Moderation says, "When fortune comes, do not enjoy all of it. When advantage comes, do not take all of it." To be over-assertive and to take full advantage of one's position is called showing too much edge, a mark of vulgarity and an omen of downfall. Whereas the English believe in not striking a man when he is down, out of respect for fair play, the Chinese equivalent expression, "do not push a fellow to the wall," is merely a matter of culture, or hanyang, as we call it. To the Chinese, the Versailles Treaty is not only unfair, it is merely vulgar, or lacking in hanyang. If the Frenchman had been imbued a little with the spirit of Taoism at the moment of his victory, he would not have imposed the Versailles Treaty, and his head would rest more easily on its pillow today. But France was young, and Germany would certainly have done the same thing, and no one realizes the extreme silliness of two nations like France and Germany, each trying to keep the other permanently under its iron heels. But Clemenceau had not read Lao Tzu, nor has Hitler. So let them fight, while the Taoist watches and smiles. Chinese pacifism is also largely a matter of temperament as well as of human understanding. Chinese boys fight much less in the street than Western boys. As a people, we fight much less than we ought to, in spite of our interminable civil wars. Put the American people under the same misrule, and there would have been 30 revolutions, not 3, in the last 20 years. Ireland is now at peace because the Irish fought hard, and we are still fighting today because we do not fight hard enough. Nor are Chinese civil wars fighting in the real sense of the word. Until recently, civil wars were never glorified. Conscription for service is unknown, and the soldiers who do the fighting are poor people who do not know how to make a living otherwise. These soldiers do not relish a good fight, though the generals relish the fight because they do not do the fighting. In any major campaign, silver bullets have always won, in spite of the fact that the conquering hero may make a majestic triumphal return to the capital to the accompaniment of the boom of guns. Those guns, they suggest so much the sound of battle, and they are typical, for in Chinese private quarrels and civil warfare, it is the sound and noise that make up the essence of the battle. One does not see fighting in China, one merely hears it. I heard 2 such battles, one in Peking and one in Amoy. Orally it was satisfying. Usually a superior army merely awes the inferior enemy into defeat, and what would be a protracted campaign in a Western country is finished in a month. The defeated general, according to the Chinese idea of fair play, is then given $100,000 traveling expenses and sent on a tour of industrial investigation to Europe.